Good morning and welcome back to my channel. My name is Crystal Brianna if you're new. Today's video is going to be helpful tips for new nurses, but also just nurses in general, even if you're seasoned. Sometimes we just need a little reminder. So let's get right into it. So tip number one, try to come to your shift 15 to 20 minutes earlier. The reason why is you want to have time to put your things away. You want to have time to write down the patients that you were assigned and look through the chart. That way you have some type of idea of, okay, this is what my patient is dealing with and this is what their plan is for today. I see they have an order for MRI of the brain, or I see that they need to go to nuclear medicine. That way when you get report from the nurse that's leaving, if these things aren't mentioned, you can bring it up to get clarity. So it's important to show up a little bit earlier so you can write all these things down and have an idea for yourself. You can't always go off of what you're told in report. All right, so that's tip number one. Tip number two is you want to make sure that you have the right patient when you're getting report. If you come in earlier and you see your assignment and it says, okay, I have patients 1, 2, 3, 4, and you write the names down and you write the room number. When you get report from the outgoing nurse, if they give you report on room 301 and tell you a different name, and you're like, wait a minute, I just looked and this patient is assigned to this room. It happens. That's why I'm bringing it up. So it's a way to make sure that you have the right patient. Because after a long night, sometimes things happen. After a long day, sometimes things happen. It's easy to mix up and someone give you a report on the wrong patient. So just make sure that you have the right patient when you're getting report. Tip number three, always make sure you review your lab results at the beginning of your shift. Sometimes you will not have any lab results when you first come on. Sometimes it's a little bit delayed, but always look just in case. Okay, speaking from a day shift nurse perspective, morning labs are usually drawn between 4 to 5 a.m. and they typically result by 8 a.m. So let's just say Mr. Smith has a hemoglobin of 6.9 and his potassium is 2. And I don't check his labs until noon. That's really bad. That's bad because the hemoglobin is low and the potassium is critical. And then you wonder why, oh, Telly's calling me, telling me, oh, Mr. Smith is having PVCs. Oh, he's running tachy on the monitor. Yeah, because a critical potassium of 2 would cause you to have arrhythmias. So it is important to make sure you review your labs at the beginning of your shift so you can properly address it with the physician. Do not wait until noon to lay eyes on your lab. That's the moral of the story. You want to make sure you look early because if that patient did have a hemoglobin of 6.9 and you don't check until noon and that patient has not been consented to even receive blood, you have to account for 15 to 20 minutes to do consent. And that's if they can do it themselves. If they're a demented patient and you got to track down a family member to have them consent, that's a whole nother set of problems and delays. That can turn into an hour or 2 hours just to get consent. Then the patient has to be typing cross. That's a process that can take an hour to an hour and a half. And then you have to wait for the blood to be prepared and hope and wish that they don't have antibodies, because if they have antibodies, a lot of times they have to get the blood directly from Carter and they have to find a donor. And it is a stretch a lot of the time. So that could delay this patient a whole nother 24 hours, to be quite honest with you. So make sure you check your labs at the beginning of your shift. Tip number 4, always look at your orders. Sometimes you'll get a report that, oh, the patient is on tele, and then you look at your orders and there's no tele orders. Sometimes you'll get a report, oh, the patient's a blood sugar check, and you look at your orders and there's nothing ordered. So always look at your orders so you know for a fact, okay, this is what's been ordered for this patient. This is what I should be doing. And if I feel like something should be different, then you communicate with the physician and obtain the appropriate orders. So always make sure you review your orders at the beginning of your shift. All right. Tip number 5, always make sure you review your vital signs at the beginning of your shift. That's crucial. It kind of paints the narrative of what you could be dealing with on your shift. If Mr. Smith has been running 80 systolic and 30s or 40s diastolic all through the night or all through the day and you're the oncoming nurse, that lets you know I need to watch this patient a little closer, and I probably should see them before I see any of my other ones. And then, if you remember the tip I gave you before about the labs, let's just say Mr. Smith's white count was 20, and then he's hypotensive and he's in the 80s systolic. That's a sign of sepsis. So that lets you know, oh, I need to do a sepsis screening. I need to alert the physician so this patient can get the care and the treatment that he needs. All right, so always make sure you review your vitals at the beginning of your shift. Tip number 6, don't just pass medications and give them because they are ordered. If Mr. Smith's blood pressure is 80s over 30s and he has amlodipine ordered, do not give amlodipine. I don't think there's a physician on the planet that will argue with you about giving that medication. Okay? Most blood pressure medications do have parameters anyway, but just in case, let's say it just says give amlodipine, there's no parameters that says hold for this or that. If his blood pressure is low, you need to hold it and contact the physician. Okay? Let's run this example. Okay, Mr. Smith's hemoglobin was 6.9, but he has heparin ordered. Don't give the heparin. Reach out to the physician, hold it for now, and then see what they instruct you to do. More than likely, they're going to tell you to hold it. Okay? So you don't just give medications because they're ordered. You have to use your nursing knowledge and critical thinking to say, oh no, he doesn't need this right now. And that's okay. That's what you went to school to learn how to do. All right? So use your nursing judgment, use your critical thinking. I hope these tips helped you guys. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos like this. I have a lot of different nursing tips that I can offer. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and you guys have a lovely day. Until next time.